America's believed that this, it believes that, okay, fine, I can blind that person with both his eyes. I lose one eye, doesn't matter. He doesn't realize that nuclear war means all eyes are gone. What will happen is every nuclear power will have to spend more to keep up with the arms race.
Putin discussed the pact's expiration with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. We will act in a balanced and responsible manner based on a thorough analysis of the security situation. Failure to agree on keeping the pact's limits will likely encourage a bigger deployment. We're at the point now where the two sides could, with the expiration of this treaty, for the first time in about 35 years, increase the number of nuclear weapons that are deployed on each side. And this would open up the possibility of an unconstrained, dangerous three-way arms race, not just between the U.S. and Russia, but also involving China, which is also increasing its smaller but still deadly nuclear arsenal.
The START deal was signed immediately as a sequence, as a result of the Cold War that was there before 1990. Okay? By 1990, Russia was very weak, and it just wanted some kind of an arrangement to make sure that peace would prevail. It agreed to the unification of Germany, but on the condition that NATO would not expand eastward, and the West gave it an assurance to that extent. By 2008, the West forgot all its promises and decided to move westwards, to move eastwards towards Russia. At that time, William Burns was a U.S. ambassador to Russia, and he wrote an 8-page letter to the U.S. government with the title Niet means Niet. N-Y-E-T means Niet. No means no. You can check on Google on Niet. Net means Net. Net means Net. And you'll find out the document, which was classified till WikiLeaks leaked it out. And there it came to be known that in spite of William Burns' warnings, the West went ahead and tried to empower Ukraine with Western weapons, which is what started the Ukraine war. Why am I saying all this? It's very important to understand why the US is willing to disregard every treaty, every convention, every international law, just to show that it is supreme. In 1990 to 2000, America and UK and other European countries were convinced that Russia would break up, and they could pick up pieces of Russia and make money out of it. By 2000, Putin came along, and he started restructuring Russia, and Russia is strong. Just to give an anecdote, in 2000, I was there in Russia, and I could see miles of girls standing outside Moscow airport. Miles, till as far as the eye could go. I asked around from people who could speak English, and they said this is a daily phenomenon. It's been going on for the last 2 months. There are at least 20, 30 flights from Moscow to Prague, and they're all going there. What is Prague? Prague was a finishing school for prostitution. And in this queue were girls as young as 14, being kissed up by their parents or by their boyfriends, bouncers standing on the side, just in case things went wrong. Parents are willing to give up their daughters because they needed something to live by. That was Russia in 2000. So Putin came in and gave Russia a lease of life. Russia respects Putin for making them proud of their country once again. This is something America does not like. If you remember, last year, MI6 also sent in large trailers, 6 large trailers. They moved into Russia from various points, and when they reached the points where they were supposed to begin the activity, the roofs opened and drones came out armed with explosives, and they went and attacked airports in which nuclear armed or nuclear enabled planes were located. Fortunately, the planes were old planes and not the new planes. And people may ask, why were the planes kept out in the open? That was part of the START and SALT treaty. SALT is also arms limitation. That for better visibility, these planes have to be kept in the open to make sure that you're not arming them with nuclear weapons. America broke its law, UK broke its law. There was a SALT treaty, there was a START treaty, and both the treaties are broken to teach Russia a lesson. Luckily, two of the trucks did not work. Some trucks had some failure, and two of the trucks managed to go there, and the drones that came out attacked the airport. Not much damage was done. Russia was livid. And that is why Russia proposed, you want to have a treaty now, have a treaty now. You don't have a treaty now, the consequences will be faced by you. And remember today, Russia has given an open challenge to the entire West. Please tell us a place and time, and we'll fire the Oreshnik into the place and let us see who can stop it. He demonstrated the first Oreshnik, and then he did the second one, which went and attacked Kyiv in Ukraine. Russia has more powerful weapons than the whole entire West has. Russians' S-400 have provided a deterrent to almost any kind of invasive technique. Their missiles are more far-reaching than any that the West has. And Russia knows very well that if the treaty is not signed, it will continue producing better and better weapons. Just an example. They've developed a new kind of drone which is nuclear fueled, which means the plane can stay in the air endlessly for surveillance purposes or for offensive purposes. No other country has a nuclear drone. They've developed the art of mini nuclear stations even for drones. Now, what does this mean for India, for all the nuclear states? It just means that without a START treaty, every country, including Russia, will have to spend money on arms. Is this America's way of bankrupting them? Yes, it's a foolish way of bankrupting them because America is bankrupt itself. It has the world's largest debt of $39 trillion.
The United States of America has more nuclear weapons than any other country. This was accomplished including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office, where I rebuilt the military. Because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it having to do with nuclear weapons, but I really had no choice. Russia is second in line and China is a distant third, but will be even within 5 years. Because of other countries' testing programs, I've instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately.
Would blow a massive hole in the global system to reduce nuclear risk. This marks a potential turning point into a much more dangerous period of global nuclear competition, the likes of which we've not seen in our lifetimes. They're likely going to respond to Golden Dome by building up the number of offensive weapons they have to overwhelm the system and make sure that they have the potential to retaliate with nuclear weapons.
The only country that is solvent with a very strong bottom line is China. Second in line comes Russia. In terms of weaponry, both Turkey and Iran have also proved formidable. Turkey, incidentally, has 60% of the global share for military drones. And China's Iskander missiles are unbelievably dangerous. It has an upper hand. But remember, Russia is not financially very strong. Russia's in grace is China, because China has been purchasing its oil. And Russia's other saving grace is its weaponry. It's given its weapons to Iran. Of course, Iran doesn't have the ability to pay for them now. We'll see about it later. It's given the weapons to India. India's paid, but India's not paid the full amount because it's a rupee trade and India does not want to pay the dollars right now. So Russia's been more liberal with India and with its friends than the West has ever been with its friends. It's a surmise. It's a guess. Okay. Why do you think USA does not want to sign this deal? Even though it'll get blinded through extra expenditure? Very simple reason. America has only two cash generating schemes. One is weapons. It is the largest supplier of weaponry in the world. It promotes wars so they can sell more arms. Second, oil. Unfortunately, this is something many people don't know. Even though America is the largest producer of oil in the world, it has the lowest reserves. So why is it producing more? Because it's come hell or whatever. It has to produce more because it needs money desperately, which is why it didn't want to sign the environmental protocols. It wants to produce as much of oil as possible, and the next few years, its reserves will be over, which is why it wanted to take over Venezuela's oil. It wants oil. It has only two businesses, oil and weaponry. So, if the treaty is not signed, India will have to purchase arms, and America's new agreement says India will purchase $500 billion. 500 is a large amount. The only way it can spend that money is by buying arms. And remember, America's arms have not lived up to the promise in both war theaters in the last 2 years, the European theater in Ukraine and the Israel theater in the Middle East. As Kissinger once said, having America as an enemy is dangerous, but having America as a friend is fatal.